Hello and welcome to episode 89 of Ready to Mosh. I'm Gem G, and with me as always, the serpent to my lair, Mr. Kev P.
I thought we'd already done that one.
Have we?
Yeah, I feel like we have.
No, we need to start writing them down.
Shocking behaviour.
Anyway, it's the second part of our Bloodstock review.
It is part 2.
Yep, so we're going to be talking about what we got up to on Saturday and Sunday, what we saw, what we didn't see, and everything in between,
What
I
we
guess. What we ate, of course, what we ate, what we drank. We'll probably sprinkle that in a bit, and that's your tummy rumbling.
That is, yeah. Apologies. Not long since eating.
Yeah, so who knows why it's doing that. So all this talk of food in it. Right, let us begin. So we had an early start on Saturday, didn't we? We
Very
had
early
a band to watch at 10:30, and we were on it and we were up and we were ready to go, and that's good for us. It's probably the earliest we've watched a band at a festival, because download normally starts at 11.
Yeah, I've been at download at 11 in the morning before.
Yeah. But
Never 10:30 for a band.
no, so that was a first, and we were actually in the arena a little bit before that, because I went and watched a little bit of Rockfit.
Yeah, you did. Did you go before me? You must
No, I
have
think
done.
you just... No, we went in... I think I nipped into the arena to watch Rockfit for a little bit, and then came back and met you in Serpent's Lair, and then we went over to New Blood.
Okay.
So yeah, because that started at 10:15, the Rockfit did, so I just caught a little bit. So yeah, our first band on Saturday was Scorer.
Yeah, they were excellent.
We'd got an interview booked with them later on Saturday, so we wanted to definitely make sure we watched their set, opening up the New Blood for Saturday morning.
And like all the New Blood talent, really good.
Definitely on it, energetic for that time of day. They had reasonable crowd for that time of day as well.
Yeah, I think they got a decent crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I think all weekend the crowds are decent for New Blood.
Definitely, but like first thing,
Oh, yeah,
it could be.
It's hard for that first slot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always going to be a harder slot kind of luck of the draw thing, but yeah, they pulled in a decent amount of people there, and everyone was up for it as well.
Yeah, everybody seems to have a great time.
Yeah, and they were really good. Great start to the day. And then from there, we were straight out to watch Seething Akira. So we did just miss the start of them because we watched all the Scorer. But again, awesome.
Yeah, and another one of my top bands. Absolutely loved Seething Akira.
Yeah, they were one of my top of the weekends. I don't know how I've not seen them before, actually.
No, I don't get that either. And they have the coolest backdrops.
Yeah, they had some really cool stuff going on, didn't they?
Yeah. Old B movies and kind of classic slasher movies and stuff going on.
Yeah, it was just a really good mix and kind of interactive with the music, and it just really suited it, didn't it?
Yeah, worked an absolute treat.
And then after them, I just nipped to the Sophie stall to get some wristbands for us.
You did, yeah.
A couple of other bits and bobs I think I got. Did I get a badge? Got a lighter? Yeah, and it was Corpse Paint Saturday as well.
It was. Do you know, I kind of wish I'd done that.
I partly did.
And if it wasn't for the interviews we were doing, I may have done.
For me, it was the thought of the rain as well, because I thought, there was a huge queue at the Sophie stall with the girl that was doing the corpse paint that day.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want to stand for ages, get it done, and then it's going to rain off. So I wouldn't have minded doing the interviews in the paint necessarily. That would have been quite fun. But yeah, I thought if it's just going to rain off, because I didn't know how waterproof it would be.
It's got to wash off, but...
Well, you know that, but apparently there was someone putting corpse paint on in the press tent as well, which I didn't realise till after.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they obviously weren't doing it when we were there. Maybe it was first thing.
Right, yeah, possibly.
Picked up a few bits from the Sophie tent, and then... Or the Sophie stall, rather, not the tent. That's a different tent, isn't it?
It's completely different,
Different part of the festival, the Sophie stall. And then we had to go and get our equipment at that point, because that was kind of the only gap we'd got.
So it was a quick trip back. And then once we got back to the arena, it was food time, I think.
It was, yeah, because we only had like a biscuity breakfast.
Yeah. And we went, I can't remember the name of the pie place we went to.
I can't actually. And the food isn't on the app, is it?
No.
Back, but it was the pie place.
Yeah, well, the place that did pies, we went there.
Yeah, near the main entrance, near the fudge bus, which we've not mentioned yet.
Yeah.
The most random thing I've seen at a festival. I don't think I've seen that before.
I've seen it before, but it might be in Glastonbury it was at.
Oh, I've seen it on a Christmas market.
Yeah, they definitely had it at Glastonbury.
I imagine
they would,
yeah. Anywho, we had pie.
Yeah, mine, the base on mine was just burnt to a crisp, and it kind of tainted the rest of the pie for me.
Yeah, I can't even remember why we had pie. I think that was the nearest kind of thing, and it was a bit overcast. It was getting to pie weather, I think, at that point.
We needed something as well where the queues weren't huge.
That's true, yeah. We almost went for Yorkie Pud, didn't we? We nearly went rogue on a Saturday. Anyway, I had a cauliflower cheese pie. That was nice.
Sounds absolutely revolting.
It wasn't. It was lovely.
Yeah, I think I had steak and ale. Might have been. Chips and mushy peas.
Good Saturday start that was. And then comes one of my festival regrets of the weekend, is not seeing Royal Republic. I wasn't dead set on seeing them as such because we've seen them before.
Yeah.
But so many people said after how amazing they were, and I got quite a bit of envy at missing
I think
them.
that's the thing that didn't really bother me that much. You know, because I've seen them a few times. So it just didn't... It's not like it was somebody I'd never seen before.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just everyone saying how good they were on the day. I was just like, wish I had watched them now. And also Tribe of Ghosts, who were on in the Sophie tent at that point. I think, did we have an interview at the same time as them, which is why we didn't see them? Can't remember. Or were we still getting our stuff? I can't remember. I will see them one day. And then next up we did see the Dead 13 back on the New Blood stage.
Yeah, they were really fucking good. They had such a stage presence.
Yeah, they really kind of visual as well as musical, if you know what I mean, their performance.
Yeah, they were amazing. Very impressed with those guys.
Yeah, they're one of those bands as well. I didn't realise how long they'd been around until we kind of did a bit of pre-research before the festival on them.
Pre-search, if you will.
Pre-search, yeah. And they are kind of the type of band that I love, really. They've got that kind of horror visual, kind of Wednesday 13 type vibes about them. So how I've never come across them, I don't know, but they were awesome. Really great performance.
I think I said to you, I think it might have been the last episode about having the top 3 bands. I think I might have to just do it by stages.
Yeah, even then
a top 3 on each stage. And I'm still going to struggle.
I would struggle doing that just for New Blood, because the thing is, I always saw so many awesome bands in the New Blood tent, but they were all very different as well. So it's hard to judge between, I guess.
Very, very different.
And then after the Dead 13, we did catch a little bit of the end of Employed to Serve on our way to see Casket Feeder.
They're always good.
Yeah, we saw them earlier in the year, didn't we? Supporting... Who did they support?
Oh, Jesus. Was it Gajira?
It was Gajira. It wasn't
Alien Weaponry.
It wasn't Jesus, no.
What?
Oh, Jesus. No, it was Gajira.
Yes, it was Gajira.
Yeah, they were really good then. So, again, it was one of those where I'd seen them recently, so not overly fussed if I'd missed them again. But what we did see of them, they were great.
Yeah, not too disappointing to miss all of the set because we knew what they'd probably play anyway.
Yeah.
They were really good, as we've said on when we did the Gajira review, I think.
We did, yeah. Yeah, and then we had Casket Feeder. So between them and Casket Feeder, we did have a nip back into Serpent's Lair.
We did. Get some drinks.
Yeah. Yeah, Casket Feeder were great.
Yeah,
really
absolutely ripped it apart, didn't they?
Yeah, ferocious
big kick
noise.
in the balls.
A bit like, I can't remember who we watched on the Friday. We said similar about them at that kind of time of day.
Yeah, just gave everything a...
wake-up call.
Yeah, just absolutely smashed the shit out of it. They were excellent. Another really good band. And there's also it's already out, I think. It should be. I think they're all out now, aren't they? The interviews?
The interview, yeah. So you had a chat with Connor.
I did.
A bit later on that afternoon.
Yeah, that was good. So that's episode 80-something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is off the
They're
top
all
of
in
my
the
head.
80s. Just go look back if you're not listening
Listen
to
to
them
this
yet.
first, then go back.
If you haven't already. Or listen to them again, why not?
Yeah.
And then after that, we just had about an hour and a half of interviews, I think, interview time. So we just kind of loitered in between the press tent and Serpent's Lair.
Yeah, they were quite, I won't say back to back, but there wasn't enough time to go and watch a band and then come back and...
Yeah, I think they were about every half hour or 20 minutes, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it was just a case of loitering around. But there wasn't anyone majorly that we wanted to see that afternoon, I don't think.
I honestly can't remember. Every time I knew that we got lots of time to interview bands, I tried to wipe as much memory as I could from the bands that I might have wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wasn't going to get to see them.
Exactly. I think just looking quickly now at the Clash Finder, possibly Bloodmoors.
Yeah, Bloodmoors were on the list.
And I might have watched a bit of Not Loose. I'm not a massive fan, but I thought they'd be good to see live if I was there, but wasn't overfussed if I missed them. So, but yeah, we did our work for the day.
We did.
And then it was time for... Oh, why do I always end up saying this one? Abath.
Go on, go through your routine.
Abath? A bar. Abath? A booth. I don't know. You'd think we'd know by now. I'm just going to say Abath. And they were awesome.
Yeah, they were really fun. It was kind of like Kiss meets... I don't know if Kiss did like black metal.
Yeah, it was.
That's the only way I can think of describing it.
They're exactly what I expected as well. I've been listening to them quite a bit in the run-up. And yeah. I think my only criticism, and you're probably going to guess what this is going to be.
I know what you're going to say because I think the same.
They would have been better in the dark, and the sun had come out quite a bit at that point, I think. So
it was very sunny.
It was that contrast of a bit of a blue sky and then obviously corpse paint on stage kind of thing.
It's the only problem with certain types of bands like those, Wednesday 13, Kiss, you kind of need to see these bands in the dark at night or in a tent where it's dark because it's more visual.
Yeah.
It impacts more.
But the sound still spoke for itself, and obviously you could still see on the screens because they were on the main stage.
Yeah.
You know, you could see the band close up and get that kind of visual effect going as well.
The sound was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
They were absolutely crystal clear, really, really good.
Yeah, the vocals were awesome, and I love that they got the smoke effect on stage as well, which again was a bit lost in the daylight, but it was kind of there for a bit of atmosphere.
But yeah, I did like those.
Yeah, they were great. Really glad I got to see them. And then it was tent time.
It was, yeah. Did we go back and drink some Jaeger?
Back, yeah, we went back and took our stuff back, and we'd not got anyone we kind of were dead set on seeing for a couple of hours at that point. There were bands, for me at least, that I would have watched if we were around, but we got to take the equipment back anyway. So we were and ahhing on Triptychon, weren't we?
Yeah, because I really want to see Triptychon, but Triptychon doing Triptychon.
Yeah.
Not doing Celtic Frost.
I wouldn't have minded seeing Muddybrook they were on the Jaeger stage straight after ABBA.
Yeah, I think they were on my list too.
But again, hopefully we'll get to see them soon because they're quite local to us anyway.
Yeah.
So, and the other one I kind of wanted to see, well, two actually, Waterlines on the Jaeger stage, but they weren't on till 8:15. So I was kind of half thinking catch them before My Sugar. And there was also Drowned on New Blood, which we both said we liked.
Yes, I really wanted to see Drowned.
And that would have been immediately before My Sugar.
Yeah.
But we'll get on to that, I guess, in a minute. But we had a bit of tent time, and some Jaeger.
Yeah, a bit of Jaeger, a bit of cider.
Some snacky snacks. And ended up staying there a little bit longer than I think we'd intended because we got
comfy. Yeah, we got comfy.
The sun came out.
And then it was back to the arena.
For My Sugar. And we really needed some food at that point, which is why we then didn't go and see Drowned or catch any of Waterlines first because we just needed to get some food.
And it was pizza. The controversial pizza of the weekend.
Yes. We didn't know it was controversial. Had I known it was controversial,
we would have boycotted.
But yeah, the pizza van at the back of the main arena, opposite the main stage. We were dead set on pizza, weren't we, really?
Yeah, we knew we wanted it, yeah.
So you had a pepperoni, I had a margarita, and I think, was yours £13, mine was £12?
Something like that, yeah.
Apparently on Thursday and possibly Friday, the same pizzas were only £9 and £10. And they put the prices up over the weekend, so we heard.
Yeah, if that is the case and that's true, then whoever the pizza company is, Bloodstock need to fucking ban them.
Yeah,
because it is just fleecing people.
Yeah, I know people who went there on the Thursday and bought the same things and went back the couple of days later, and yeah, the prices had gone up over the weekend.
And it's not just kind of like by a little bit either. That's a big increase.
Yeah,
I think if that is the case, then Bloodstock need to ban them.
Yeah, I hope they've taken note of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably have, because they do act on feedback as well.
Yeah, which is something that we've mentioned a couple of times between ourselves. I don't know if we said it on the last episode, but
they should ban them and basically say to all vendors, you set your prices on Thursday, they stay the same till Sunday, regardless.
I didn't hear anyone else doing it.
No.
I didn't notice anything myself. We didn't go to the same places twice.
You've seen it in a group, hadn't you?
It was on the Facebook Bloodstock group, yeah.
Yeah.
But a couple of different people have said it as well. It wasn't just like as if one person went and forgot how much they were. I know.
There were multiple instances of people doing it, yeah.
Yeah, so not on at all.
And it wasn't that good pizza, actually, to be honest. I was quite shit.
Yeah, basically yours was pretty much the same as mine, but about five bits of pepperoni
on, yeah.
So you may as well have just had the same as me, to be honest.
Yeah.
It served a purpose at the time, but yeah, it was disappointing. I've had better pizzas at festivals.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, a lot better. But then we can move on to a highlight.
My Sugar. First thing to note, the crowd was noticeably less than it was the night before for Killswitch.
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot thinner.
A lot easier to move towards kind of the back front onto the stage than it was.
Yeah, there was a lot of room. Which, I mean, I know Killswitch are probably a bigger band than My Sugar.
Or a more popular.
Well, that's what I mean by that, more popular.
They've got more of a generic appeal.
Yeah.
I think My Sugar are more of an acquired taste, would you say?
Yeah, not everybody's into kind of like outer signature guitars and like the time signatures just aren't what you get from other bands.
Yeah, they're not a sing-along band.
No, they're not, yeah. They're very, very different. And I thought they were fucking brilliant.
Yeah, they were. Again, I don't know how we've not seen them before.
No, don't think I have watched them before.
No.
I think they're one of those bands that when I first started listening to them years ago, I just didn't get it. I just wasn't into it, didn't get it, didn't really see what the fuss was about.
Similar for me, to be honest. Yeah, they were just, didn't get it. And I think that's probably why it wasn't quite so busy, because there will still be people who don't get it.
And watching them on the main stage, they were so atmospheric. It was a perfect set, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just going to say about it being atmospheric, because obviously it was dark by then, and just the lighting that they got going on, it just suited, and kind of the silhouettes that were on the main screen.
Like all the reds and the purples that were coming through.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's like, when they announced them as one of the headliners, part of me still thought, are they a headliner really?
Mm.
And then you watch that performance, it's like, yeah, they are a fucking headliner.
Absolutely.
And they need to be playing higher up bills at other places as well.
Quite a contrast as well in terms of crowd interaction from the night before, where there was loads of banter and interaction with Killswitch. They just came on.
There was nothing from Sugar, and I love that.
Pretty much, yeah. And it just kind of adds to the ambience, I guess, doesn't it? Kind of.
It does very, very much in the way
just
that
appearing and doing their thing, and this is us. Similar to Tool, I guess.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I was going to say to you very much in the same way as Tool.
Anywho, yeah, absolutely awesome. So glad we saw them, and the highlight of the weekend for me.
I can't argue with that. I think they were definitely up there.
And yeah, after that, it was pretty much back to the tent, wasn't it? I half thought about going to see Brothers of Metal, just for the novelty factor, but I was quite tired at that point.
Yeah. You did sound very Jeremy Clarkson then. Back to the tent.
Back to the tent. Why? I don't get it.
That's what he says on Grand Tour.
Yeah. No. We just wended our way back to our abode. Is that better?
Better than what?
Tent.
Whatever.
Our air abode. What it shall be known as.
The air abode.
Yes. We don't camp in a tent. We have an air abode. But yeah, that was everything on Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I don't even remember having any beer Saturday night when we got back. I think we were just too shattered.
Pretty much. On to Sunday then.
Final day.
The final countdown.
Europe.
To start Sunday, we thought we'd treat ourselves to a little campsite breakfast, didn't we?
Yeah, it was from the burger van that we got on the campsite where we were.
Yeah, well, it was a breakfast van, wasn't it?
Breakfast van, yeah. They did sausage, bacon,
and
go on.
And corn sausage, which was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you could actually have something you could eat.
Yeah, because it did say it had bacon cob, sausage cob, combo of the both, and then it said a vegetarian option. I was like, what would that be?
Did they do scrambled egg as well?
They didn't do any egg,
Did
no. Which was a shame, because I could have just had egg cob. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
And obviously hash browns were missing, but no, it just did the basics at a decent price, which is what you want.
Oh yeah, it was dirt cheap, yeah. And decent.
Yeah, I think it was £11 for 2 cobs and 2 coffees.
Yeah, I had sausage and bacon. Very nice.
I had corn sausage and 2 coffees.
You had 2 coffees, did you?
No, I nearly did.
To make up for the withdrawal.
From Thursday, yeah. No, was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday, wasn't it? Friday was the day without coffee. Yeah, we made up for that on Sunday. Yeah, and then it started to rain.
And it absolutely fogged it down.
Yeah, it was quite annoying, to be honest, because we woke up and it was like, oh, it's going to be dry today. And then 2 minutes later, out in the campsite, rain. Yeah,
the heavens opened. And the trouble was as well, is that we were going to take equipment straight away. And we didn't want to damage the equipment, just to kind of be safe about it. And there's nothing worse than being absolutely wet through and then trying to record things and all the equipment's fogged. So
yeah, so we did miss a little bit of Sunday's music. Sadly.
Yeah, a bit frustrating because there were people who wanted to see Sunday morning.
Yeah, I wanted to see Dead Label, I wanted to see Elimination.
Yeah.
But I think was it about 11, half 11, it dried up?
It was, yeah, around 11-ish, I think.
Yeah. So we did end up having a walk into the arena at that point, and our first stop on Sunday was to go and see Metal for Good.
Yeah, previous interviewees.
Yes, from last year.
It was, yeah.
So it was great to see them there, actually meet in person, see them with their little tent set up.
Yeah, it was really cool. They told us kind of how everything been going over the last year.
Yeah.
Since we saw them.
It's going really well and they're doing more and more great stuff.
Yeah, they're doing really, really well.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Metal for Good, make sure you check them out.
Very worthwhile cause.
Yes, and we bought a couple of bits from them as well.
We did.
And then it was feeding time.
Again.
Sounds like all we've done
is eat.
Just for context, it was quite early when we had the breakfast on the campsite.
It
was about 8
yeah.
o'clock, and we're getting on for, what time would it have been now? Just after 12 at least, so you know. And obviously, what do we do on a Sunday? We have Yorkie puds. Although you nearly went rogue on this one, didn't you?
I did nearly go rogue, yeah, because I'd seen a guy with, it just looked like a huge chunk of meat, and I thought, I've got to have that in my life. And when I got closer to where, I can't remember the name of the place that did it.
It was a Texas smoker truck thing that kept making a random noise as well.
When I got there and I started looking through the menu that they got on the side, I realised it was a turkey leg. I was kind of, well, I think turkey's the most boring meat of all available meats. While it did look good from when I'd seen that guy with it, I just didn't really fancy it.
So you came and joined me in the Yorkie queue.
Yeah, and I'll have to check, but the one I ordered, I thought that was the one with crackling, and I got no crackling.
Oh, controversial.
But that was the only reason I went there, is because I wanted some crackling.
Well, to make sure next time.
Mm.
Did they ask you if you wanted crackling?
No.
Oh.
No, because it comes as part of it. It was the only one that did come with crackling.
I just had my usual Duchess, which is more corn sausage, chips, peas, and the Yorkie.
Yeah. And it was, as you'd expect, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody's probably had the Yorkie pud at some point.
Defeated by it again, couldn't quite finish it.
No, you got close.
Yeah.
I don't think I finished all mine, actually. I was
going to say you didn't finish yours either, but we had a good go and we had plenty and it definitely did its job.
Yeah, it kept us going.
And then we were straight off to see Beyond Your Design on the New Blood stage.
We were. And did we interview them that late that day?
It was later that day, yeah.
Later that day we interviewed them, yeah.
Yeah, but they were our local Nottingham Metal to the Masses winners.
Yeah, so we were very familiar.
Yeah, I've seen them. That'll be like the
third or fourth time.
Yeah, pretty much seen them through every heat
to
get there. So it was great to finally see them on that stage.
And what was interesting in that I think we'd said before that when we'd seen them before, they'd always had a lot of core support at local shows, and that kind of transferred over to a bigger stage at Bloodstock.
Yeah, there were some familiar faces in the crowd.
There were, yeah, and the amount of support they got, it's almost like it kind of tripled.
Yeah,
they got a real kind of core group there, and they played probably the best set I think I've seen them play.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, they nailed it in the final. What we saw of them till the incident. You know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we said at that point, or actually it was when the semi-final, we said they looked like they were already playing on a bigger stage.
Yeah. Yeah, the stage just wasn't big enough for them, and they got to the New Blood, and I think you could say the same again. They absolutely bossed it.
Yeah.
Again, another highlight of the weekend, I think, for me.
Yeah, definitely for me.
And I just feel like I'm saying that they're all highlights, but they were just, everybody's been that good.
Yeah. Yeah, like especially the New Blood bands as well. They were all just giving it their all and taking that opportunity to be on that stage.
I think that's the thing. It's like they were hungry. They were hungry for it.
Yeah, like they've all got a point to prove, and they did.
Yeah.
After Beyond Your Design, we had a quick wander up to the merch stall for the first time because there'd always been huge queues. Pretty much every other time we'd been near it.
Yeah, they were always big, and it seemed an opportunity. It's like, oh great, not much of a queue, pretty much straight to the front. But there was a very good reason for that. Because
there was nothing left. To be honest, I was kind of expecting it at that point.
Yeah.
It was just stupid, really, isn't it? Why do festivals never have enough merch?
I understand them not printing enough merch, just in case they don't sell.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
They've got to work within a target.
Yeah.
But the one thing that does annoy me is if you've sold out a merch at, say, I don't know, let's say Saturday, on certain lines, take the fucking lines off or put signs up that say, we are out of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I think they did do that at Download, didn't they?
They did.
Or they just put like small only or whatever. But at least we didn't have to queue. It'd be more annoying if you'd queued and then they got nothing. Yeah,
that would be frustrating, which is why I don't like queuing at Download anymore.
Yeah. And no stand plushies either, which, as per last episode. But we did get 2 cups, which I didn't think we'd get because they sold out really quickly last year. So we have got a little souvenir.
Yeah, and I think the T-shirts are online now.
They were put on a few days ago. I've not actually checked to see if
They did
they're
have
still
some
there,
available,
did
so
they?
I'm probably going to do that. I might do that tonight, actually.
After payday.
That's already happened. I'm
I
all
know
right.
that's for you. There was quite a few other bits, I think, with random bits and bobs left, but there was just T-shirts in particular.
Yeah, there's nothing that you really wanted.
No.
And they were kind of like down to the last few bits, I think.
I did read somewhere as well that sometimes they have a big restock before Christmas, so that might be.
Okay.
They might have some plushies in for Christmas.
Probably. Yeah.
Hint, hint. And then while we were at the merch stand, All Hail the Yeti was still on the main stage, so we did manage to catch kind of the last 10 minutes or so of them as well.
Yeah, sounded really good.
From what we saw of them, really
From what
good.
we saw.
Yeah, they are a band that I would have liked to have probably watched the full set off if they hadn't have clashed with Beyond Your Design, but had to take a priority on that one.
Yeah, we did. And I'm in the same boat as you. I would have liked to have seen the full set. Unfortunately, clashes. Then we couldn't, but hopefully we'll get to see them again. Then after that, it was back to the press area to do the first of our many interviews. And the first band we spoke to on Sunday were Go Death.
Yep, they were the Leeds Metal to the Masters winners, and this was before they got onto the stage, actually. They were doing some press first, so it was great to have a chat with them, see how they were feeling before.
Yeah, they were a good laugh. I enjoyed talking to them.
And then we had a bit of a gap then, so we popped into the Serpent's Lair tent because the legend that is Crusher was doing some Crusher Nori.
Yeah, Crusher is absolutely amazing. He's, like you say, he's a legend. He's just so much fun.
Yeah, he'd done kind of part one on the Saturday afternoon, which we didn't get a chance to see. But yeah, we managed to kind of catch about 10 minutes of him, didn't we? Have a sit down in there.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the fact that we got bands to interview, and obviously there were bands that we wanted to see, I would quite happily spend a few hours just listening to Crusher.
Yeah, I could have sat there all afternoon with a drink listening to him.
Yeah, just straight up to the bar, get a beer, sit down. I love Crusher. He's so much fun.
Yeah, and it's one of the stories he comes out with, you can almost not believe they're true if you didn't know that they were true.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, it was great just to see a bit of him. And then by the time this goes out, we will have seen him again at Stone Dead because he's comparing there again this year.
He is, yeah. So much trouble he gets into this year.
But yeah, after then, we had, I think, another 5 interviews that afternoon, 2 of which were unplanned.
They were, yeah. Kind of done on the fly, and they seemed to go well, I think.
Yeah, the first one was a planned one with Elimination, which you did. And then just before we spoke to Elimination, we got approached by
Jorge,
who had played on the main stage earlier. It was their first time in the UK and they had no press representation. They were just in the press area trying to get some interviews. So they asked if we'd be free at some point, and we said, yeah, well, in about 20 minutes or so we should be free. So
yeah, that was probably the most kind of nerve-wracking moment for me at a festival. Trying to talk to a band through a translator, and obviously I knew who they were because I actually wanted to see them, but we didn't actually get to watch them.
Yeah, I'm glad you took that one on.
Yeah, and I think it came out okay.
Yeah, it was a bit difficult because like doing a spur of the moment interview is one thing, but like you say, with the translator,
it had a whole new layer to it.
Their first time in the UK anyway. You don't know a lot about their history as such. You kind of knew that they were Mongolian thrash metal, and we knew the basics about them, but not a lot to be very familiar with, like we were with other bands that we spoke to.
And the other problem, of course, is when you talk to them through the translator, who was Mongolian as well. It's that issue where you kind of want to ask a question, but you can't make the question too complex in English.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You just want to kind of stick with the basics, I guess.
Yeah, so you have to kind of make your own English basics so that it's easily understandable for them, so that they can translate it. And then you have to put a lot of faith in the translator to tell the band what you're trying to ask. Yeah. It's such a...
And it could so easily be lost in translation, because you could be asking something which makes sense to you, but the way they've learned English, it could have a different meaning, or it could be like little colloquialisms that you don't realise you're saying.
Yeah.
Might not come across well.
Yeah.
Like Nottinghamshire-ish might not translate.
Yeah, it might not.
But it went well, and they did a little song as well.
They did, yeah.
Demo.
And again, that in that interview, I'll be honest, I don't think the mics, well, not the mics, but I don't think the audio does it justice.
No.
because the noise that they can make is absolutely fucking crazy. And there were no instruments. It was just through throat.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
I was really blown away. It's like, how the fuck do you do that?
To be honest, it was just quite a surreal moment, to be honest.
I've never had a band sing to me live, just in my face. Yeah, just like, what the fuck is going on? That was really surreal.
Yeah, it was.
But they were ever so nice. They were absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I definitely recommend if they're back in the UK at any point, do go and give them a watch if you didn't at the festival.
Well, if they are, I'm going and I'm going to try and get hold of them. We'll do a full proper interview.
Yeah, we'll be more prepared.
Yeah,
definitely. And then after then, we had a chat with Embodiment, or you did.
Yes.
On that one.
I had a busy old day.
You did, didn't you? And then finally I had a chat with Beyond Your Design.
Yeah, I managed to pass that one on to you, and I got to control the audio on that.
Yeah, well, we'd kind of planned it out, but then we had 2 spur-of-the-moment ones, which you just jumped in on, really, didn't you? Because you're better at that sort of thing.
I don't know about that.
Off. But yeah, that kind of wrapped up the interviews for the weekend.
It did, yeah. It was kind of sad that was the last interview, but also kind of relieved that it's like, right, okay, we can just watch bands now. We don't have to focus on working anymore.
No, because it does make you clock watch, because you obviously would not want to be late. So you're always, when you know interviews are coming up, you're just keeping one eye on the time, just to be sure. Yeah. But so then, Go Death were on the New Blood stage.
They were, yeah.
So yeah, they were awesome. We've been listening to them quite a bit anyway, because they'd sent us a couple of singles to review over the last few months. So
and everything they've done we've really liked as well.
And so it's great to actually see that live. They came across really well live. Awesome performance. I know we keep saying it, but yeah, absolutely smashed the New Blood stage. Very much deserved to be there. And yeah, I can see them going on to bigger things. Then
on to who would, I think, my favourite band of the weekend, Ugly Kid Joe.
I think they're one of my favourites, just in that sentimental way that we saw a lot of bands that we'd never seen before, but there's just something about Ugly Kid Joe.
It reminds me of being 15 again. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of being 15 and listening to Ugly Kid Joe for the first time, and the vocals are still as sharp as they ever used to be.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them last year, didn't we, at Rock City?
We did.
Was it October, November time?
With Massive Wagons and Chris Catalyst.
Yeah.
Who was also in Ugly Kid Joe.
Yeah, he was on guitar for them this time. He's been doing the European dates with them.
Was he doing bass before?
He was on bass in October with them, standing in for someone else. Thing I loved about it as well, and I've seen a few people comment similar on it, it was almost like a palate cleanser for the afternoon, and like a little pick-me-up, and got everyone bouncing along and singing along, and you kind of know what you're going to get from them. It's just a fun, interactive party kind of
atmosphere, yeah.
It was just perfectly placed on the set list, you know what I mean, the schedule.
Yeah. What I love about it as well is that because it is such a different contrast, I remember looking at the schedule and thinking, how the fuck are Ugly Kid Joe going to fit in here? How are they going to get out?
They followed Decapitated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What a contrast.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how the fuck is this going to work? And it was perfect. And I think everybody appreciates it. It's kind of like, we need a minute.
Yeah.
We need a minute. We need to get his energy back. And this is the band to do it. This is the one that's going to get you going again.
And I think it was the mix of crowd who are obviously very familiar with them.
Yeah.
And people who hadn't seen them before and were just watching out of curiosity, and it's probably not really their thing, but they really got engrossed in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I knew every single word to every single song.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people probably knew 2 of the most obvious ones.
Oh, Cats in the Cradle and Everything About You.
They're the definite biggest ones, aren't they? They had the biggest sing-alongs.
My favourite was they played Busy Bee, and I absolutely adore Busy Bee. And they played... what do they play? Goddamn Devil.
Yeah, Neighbourhood,
yeah. Some of my favourites.
I was actually disappointed when they started playing Everything About You, because I knew it was going to end. I could have watched
it. I know. That's always the worst bit, is it's like, oh no, you're playing this now. That means you're done.
I think in my mind, felt like they were going to have a longer set than what they did. But actually, that time of day, it was obviously the normal set time for them.
Oh, they also played Ace of Spades.
Oh, they did, didn't they? And they got, I can't remember his name, from Sepultura on the guitar for that one. Andreas? Am I making that up?
I can't remember, the name escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, and then we had a bit of a break after that.
Yeah, and then back out again to go and watch Embodiment.
Yeah, who were awesome.
They were. Very busy stage.
Yeah, it was really busy in there. Some epic vocals on that one.
Yeah.
Love that, yeah.
A lot of big vocals going on.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And again, like everybody all weekend, didn't disappoint. And the rise that they've had.
Yeah, and then just working that, they've kind of worked
done
their way up.
They did New Blood, I think. And then they got like an epic slot, to be on that late on the Sunday. It's, it shows you that I think if bands put the effort in, put the hard work in.
Yeah, keep plugging away.
There are places
way up.
Yeah, there are places like Bloodstock that will give you that opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've took full advantage and they've deservedly climbing through the ranks.
Yeah, and I loved that when we spoke to them, they were saying they didn't realise how big the capacity of the Sophie tent was.
Yeah, they checked the capacity and like, holy shit, are you sure?
Yeah, and there was a lot of people in there towards that capacity, wasn't there?
There was, and they were there to see embodiment. It's not like they were hanging around for somebody after. They were all there to see embodiment. So very well done.
Yeah. And then it was feeding time. And it was a bit of a weird one because I really didn't know what I wanted. I was getting hungry. And all I knew was that I didn't want any more chips. I felt a bit chipped out.
I didn't. I felt like I wanted everything, and I ordered way too much food.
That was accidental, though.
It was, yeah. I didn't realise how big the portions were, and it was a really reasonable price as well. Yeah,
you went to Scandinavia in Serpent's Lair, where I'd had my cheesy chips from on Friday night, or was it Thursday? Friday night.
Yeah, and I had the pork sword, which was the hot dog.
Yes.
The only thing about that is that it was really caked in tomato and mustard. It's kind of like I'd have been better putting it on myself because I don't eat it a lot. No,
I think they were quite accommodating with like adapting food for you. So, but obviously you didn't realise it would come with the mustard on. Otherwise, they'd have done it without for you.
Yeah, I would probably put like half of each on at the most.
Yeah,
and then the chips were just. I've never seen such a tray of chips like that in my life. They were ridiculous. I
feel like it looked smaller than my portion, although mine didn't have meat on it. But I wonder if it's kind of towards the end of Sunday night and they were just using up stock.
Very possibly. I mean, there must have been a full pack of bacon on there.
Yeah.
It was fucking huge. There was bacon on there. There was it crispy onion?
I think you had the same as what I had on Friday, but with the meat on it.
Yeah, and it had hot dog sausage on there. It was mind-blowingly big. But what we'll do is hopefully we go back next year. I'm having the same again, but just the chips.
Yeah. If they're in there again.
If they're in there again, and that'll do me fine, yeah.
Well, I had my first ever bunny chow.
You did. And I believe you enjoyed it. I think, didn't they message us?
I tagged them on Instagram and they did, they sent a message asking how it was. It was exactly what I wanted at that time of day.
Yeah.
What I didn't realise before with bunny chow, I was worried how hot it was, but it does come in different levels of heat. So I went for the vegan chili, or the vegetarian, was it veggie or vegan? I can't remember. The meatless chili anyway. So, and it was in the bread because you can have nachos as well. But you either get mild, hotter than hell, or you can have a mixture of the two. So it's kind of potluck, I guess, what you get in your mouth.
Yeah.
A bit like salt and sweet popcorn, I suppose. I just went for the mild.
And was it hot enough? Was it too hot?
Wasn't really. No, it was just mild. It was full of flavour, not hot at all. So I might maybe, depending on the weather, if I have it again, I will have it again, mix it up. But I didn't want anything. I don't like it when food is really hot and it burns your mouth and it hurts to eat because it's not fun.
No, that's not fun.
Food shouldn't be painful. So yeah, I just went for the mild and it was, It
did the job.
Got the art of eating it, scooped all the chili out first and then ate the bread and it was, very nice.
Excellent.
And a bargain at £11.
It looked a good size.
Yeah, really just right, I would say, for that time of day. Perfectly filling, and we'll absolutely be visiting next time I see them at a festival. Depending on the weather, like I said, if it's really hot, I don't know, might be all right, the mild one there in hot weather, maybe.
Then it was, I think by the time we'd finished eating and cleaned up a little bit, because mine was very messy, it was off to see Zeal and Nordor.
To attempt to see...
to see Zeal and Nordor.
Attempt, yeah, which... I expected it to be a bit busy, but not that busy. We couldn't get in the tent, could we? We were...
No, nowhere near it. We were stood kind of near the bottom of the accessibility ramp. Although we could kind of see and hear everything, it wasn't the best of views.
It wasn't. We stayed for a few songs, didn't we?
Yeah, but it was just...
It was a bit pointless, because,
And all I'm going to say is I'm so glad I watched it in a tent, a download about... Was it 5 years ago?
Once again, I regret watching Marilyn Manson instead. I will see them again. I'm sure they'll talk, because they did a few dates earlier this year, didn't they? So hopefully they'll be back over and can see them at a proper show anyway. I mean, it's great to see that they got such a huge crowd.
They wouldn't have looked out of place on the main stage.
I do wonder if part of the size of the crowd was due to the fact that Halloween had pulled out and KK's Priest were on instead. And if Halloween had been on their original slot, it wouldn't have been as busy, at least at the start, because there was an overlap with the start of theirs and the end of the main stage slot. So I do wonder if that played a part in it.
May have done.
Because a lot of people were up for Halloween. There were a lot of pumpkin outfits going on.
There were. But there was a lot of people who were there just to see Zeal and Ardor.
Yeah, it's just an observation.
No, you're probably right. There may be an element of that a lot of people were there because they didn't want to see KK's Priest.
So it might have thinned out maybe later on, I don't know. But yeah, it's good to see a bit of them. They sounded awesome. Just a shame we couldn't see very well.
Yeah, it was just a poor view, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're partly to blame for not getting there earlier, but
that is true, yeah.
We did get there later than we planned. And finally, the headline act, Megadeth.
Mega Dave,
as you like to say. Sounded as good as ever. I don't think he ever sounds bad, I'll be honest. I've never seen... I know you don't like Megadeth, but...
He just sounds like Dave to me. He's just there, isn't he? I'm not saying he's got a bad voice. For his age, he sounds good, but I just don't enjoy the noise that he makes.
I'll still never understand, but...
I know.
He was... Yeah, I thought he was excellent. We didn't stay for all of the set because we did 5 interviews that day as well as watching a load of bands. And we were just absolutely drained from all the stuff we'd done all weekend.
Yeah, you always get tired at that point of the festival,
yeah.
don't you?
I mean, we stayed for a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
And to me, he sounded as good as he's ever sounded. At no point was there any bits where I thought, oh, he's starting to lose it now. You know, he's not a young man anymore, but he's still hitting everything.
I will agree with that, yeah. Like I say, for his age.
Yeah.
Yeah, his vocals do seem to be there. As they should.
Not an issue at all.
Yeah, and the rest of the band all sounded great.
Band sounded really good, as did Dave. I'll say Dave like he's my mate. It's not my mate, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Also, the blow up unicorn apparently was really annoyed about that. So
really?
I've heard. I can't remember where I read it. But yeah, he didn't seem very pleased. I just assumed it might have been their thing. I don't know. But
no.
Yeah, the blow up unicorn that was somewhere near the front. I really can't remember. It must have been somewhere on the Facebook group, I assume, or similar. But yeah, I think he was a bit annoyed about it.
I didn't know that. Yeah, he's not one for letting his feelings get in the way of common sense at times, is he?
No. And I've not heard the greatest of reviews about the whole acoustic set that they did Saturday night.
Yeah, wait, did they do that in the gallery?
They did it in the gallery. Apparently there were no phones allowed or any pictures. I don't know if people had to actually sign a non-disclosure agreement or something. Yeah, and they were in the signing tent and they wouldn't sign anything apart from what they'd got, I think, which I don't know if that's standard, but apparently it wasn't the greatest of experiences.
I'm glad I didn't pay 140 quid for that then.
Well, I wouldn't have anyway.
Well, I know you wouldn't, but yeah, the whole thing seemed a bit of a shit show, to be honest, how it was all set up, but we'll gloss over that.
Yeah, and yeah, for what we did see, they were good. And what we heard when we were back at the tent.
Yeah, because you could hear it quite clearly, couldn't you? And they were great.
Yeah, we definitely didn't stay up to see Biohazard. I did hear that the tent was still rammed for them as well. So I'm kind of glad we didn't hang around to try and see them if that was the case, because if we had the same view as Zeal and Ardor, it would have been a bit pointless.
Oh, we did I drank a hell of a lot of coffee.
Oh, yeah, we
Sunday
did.
night. There was a really nice coffee place in Serpent's Lair.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We did treat ourselves to a Sunday night coffee. You had a couple, didn't you?
About 4,
I was a rebel having a coffee at 7:30 at night. Gosh. Yeah.
The first time I had some really good coffee in a while.
I have to say it was quite pricey coffee, though. £4.50.
For the size of it, yeah.
Nearly as much as a pint.
Yeah, I could have drank that stuff all day, though. What annoys me is when you pay quite a lot for a small amount of coffee, but it is really good coffee.
Mm.
I don't know if it's because we just had shit coffee all weekend.
Yeah, although our little breakfast van in the campsite was great and you got a coffee for £2 when the card machine was working, it was just instant coffee. Served a purpose, but we are a bit...
I'm a coffee snob.
We're both coffee snobs. I'm fully surprised that we haven't started taking some kind of camping cafetiere or something with it.
I've considered it. It's just too delicate.
Actually, yeah.
But that was Sunday. That was the weekend.
That was the weekend. It was goose o'clock.
And that is some fucking geese in the background.
Which is quite ironic because we had goose travelling over us in each direction every day at Bloodstock, didn't we? Remember the geese?
No.
You don't remember the geese?
No.
Every day, every morning and night.
I'm going to say no. That was the geese making an impromptu appearance.
Yeah, rather fitting. So yeah, on the whole, an awesome weekend all round. I definitely preferred my Bloodstock experience this year to last year. I don't know if that's just because it was the heat or what, but...
I think it was a combination of things. I think the heat was definitely a major factor this year in that it wasn't as extreme as last year. I think that the campsite we were on this year, the people in it were a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, your tent neighbours are always going to have a bit of an impact on your experience, I guess.
I did enjoy it more this year. I know it was slightly different that it was great that we got media wristbands and we got to talk to bands, but I don't think that was the thing that did it for me as a weekend, if you know what I mean. I enjoyed everything about it.
I did. The whole atmosphere just felt better this year. And again, I don't know if the heat had impacted it last year, but it just felt more of a festival this year. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas I think the year before it was that hot. People were it just didn't feel like a festival last year.
No, it was almost like everyone was running around like zombies from the heat last year. And the first thing I noticed this year was so many people just walking around, having fun, and just seemed more alive in themselves.
Seemed more relaxed.
Yeah.
I think I did prefer it this year a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back again next year because the lineup's looking awesome already, as we mentioned last episode. The 10 bands that they've already said are going to be there. There's lots to look forward to.
Well, that wraps everything up for this episode, so hope you enjoyed listening to it. Don't forget you can check out all of the interviews that we've spoken about of these last 2 episodes. So there's 10 episodes in total for you to listen to with some really cool bands. And you can find us on Instagram, Threads and Twitter at Ready to Moshcast, Facebook, TikTok and YouTube at Ready to Mosh. There is also a vlog that is out now.
It should be, hopefully. I'm saying this now to make sure it is out.
Yeah, so go and give that a watch as well. And if you like what you've been listening to, give us 5 stars on whatever streaming platform you're using. Write a really nice review because it's ever so good for us. And we'll be back with another episode very soon.
Make it stop, Moog.